Welcome to the Guy Pie Podcast, featuring Anthony, Chris, John, Sean, and Mark. This is a weekly podcast where five guys come together to make the ultimate conversational pie about the games they are currently playing.
Welcome to the Guy Pie Podcast. I'm Chris. Joining me today is Anthony
Howdy.
and John.
Hi.
John went through a difficult loss today. He's getting through it, He's getting through it. Is there anything you want to say about your beard, John, before we get into it?
No.
Okay, all right. We'll start today off with Monster Hunter Now. John, you've been playing this. What do you think about it so far?
I just started it today. I saw an ad on TikTok and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I downloaded it. And yeah, I'm hooked. Actually, the combat wasn't what I expected. I was just it is tappy, but at the same time, like it's tappy with some kind of like dodge elements and like perfect dodges, and it's pretty crazy. Like you start off, you fight small monsters. There's actual actual hunts and stuff too. You can do like Great Jagras and Puki and Kulu, and I forget how to say the actual name, but yeah, no, it's pretty cool, and it kind of works like Pokemon Go, where you have, instead of Pokestops, it's deposits, like mineral deposits, like gathering spots, basically. And you walk to those, you tap on those, you get some materials to craft weapons, armor, to upgrade your weapons and armor. And it's cool because like each monster you hunt, you can actually get their like weapon and armor like unlocked and use the materials towards those too. So I'm actually kind of digging it. I didn't think I would when I saw it. I think it was last year. I can't remember which thing we were watching that we saw it. I think it was like the Capcom.
Yeah, the Capcom showcase.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, no new Monster Hunter, boo, and it showed this instead. So I actually like it. It kind of get me hyped for Monster Hunter Wilds. So yeah.
All right. And then Anthony, you downloaded it, but you haven't really sunk any time into it yet.
Yeah, I just I went through like the tutorial phase. Just John talking about it made me decide to download it, because I did consider it many times, because I, like you said, the Pokemon Go thing, right? It's just I burnt myself out hard on Pokemon Go. I played it hard for on and off. Like when I would be playing it, I just went way too hard, man. And then it was usually in the good weather seasons I would play for probably about 2 or 3 years. So every time I considered downloading, I would just think of then, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. But then when John mentioned like the more interactiveness of the fighting, I was like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. And then through the tutorial, you kind of learn a few things. Um, I haven't quite learned, like John talking about, like the collection nodes and stuff. I haven't gone out anywhere or really done much past the intro, but it's got a lot of mechanics that I'm really liking. So I'm actually planning, after we're done here tonight, I'm going to go for just a walk at the park nearby, just to try and level up to progress the prologue for the game. And I just got to make sure it doesn't hook me like Pokemon Go did, because I spent way too much money on that game. I was like giving myself like a monthly allowance to spend on it, and I don't want to get to that place, but I am enjoying it. I just can't wait till we can unlock something else besides a starter weapon type, which is Sword and Shield.
Yeah, for myself, I don't think I'll be touching this one. I've always just been the kind of person who doesn't like mobile phone games. Like Pokemon Go was like that. I'd say Pokemon Go and Marvel Snap were like the ones that kind of like broke the mold for it, just because of like the connection to those properties and all that. Where while I did like Monster Hunter World and the time spent with you guys, I did enjoy that. Monster Hunter isn't that type of property that would draw me in to at least like experience this, right? But I'm glad that both you guys like have that interest in it. It's always cool. Just hopefully it doesn't cut too much into your final shape time there, Anthony. Hopefully the addiction doesn't get too strong. You know,
Well, I doubt anything could overcome my addiction to Destiny. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
we shall see. John, any final thoughts before we move on?
No, not really. Not much to talk about yet. Once we level up quite a bit.
Yeah, next week. I know Final Shape's coming, but I am gonna plan to like get maybe a daily 30-minute walk in,
Yeah,
just park, and then so hopefully I progress enough next week. Maybe we'll have some new weapons to talk about.
yeah.
All right. So next up we have Wuthering Waves. Anthony, you've been playing this one. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so the best way to describe it, like in one sentence, is like Genshin Impact competitor. Um, I briefly tried Genshin Impact when it first released. At the time, though, I didn't really have much grasp on the whole model of like the gacha genre. Since then, I've played several different ones. One of them I actually played for several years. Spent probably over the lifespan of playing it, like a couple years, like $200 maybe total. Um, this, however, is a bit different. Like it's like Genshin, right? So if you're not familiar with Genshin, it's like big open world, very Breath of the Wild vibey, lots of resources to collect. I'm still trying to learn like what the kind of like the gameplay loop is because it like if like any gacha game, you have some sort of stamina that where you can only do so many things in a day. Um, so it's just to keep consistently playing, right? You can only do this much a day, so you come back. They want you to come back every day and do these things or weekly things. There's certain. So I'm still trying to learn that, but so far I've broken it down to you have this big open world and there's resources that I know there's at least some that respawn daily, so you can continuously, and they're all in the like static locations. And then there's bosses that you use this one currency, and if I'm not mistaken, that currency is it's like the stamina. I think it recharges over time. I don't know what the like the exchange rate of time with time is for per one energy or whatever they call it in the game. But I just did one boss fight. It costed like 30 or 60 of the energy. And man, that boss fight, it's it was awesome. So you have three characters in your team that you can continuously swap between, and you can actually combo between, like you can do like one combo that you interchange between characters within the combo. And it just, I don't know if, again, I didn't really play Genshin Impact too much. I don't know if the combat's similar in that one, but this one, it's like you have like your perfect time parries and dodges. Um, and you have like a grapple hook, which I've actually been kind of utilizing. It's meant for more traversal, but you can use it at any time, even in combat. So, like, say it's you're fighting a boss, he's charging at you, you can grapple hook and just pull yourself over because there's no like double jump. You just have the single jump. But if you jump and grapple, you could get over behind them and stuff. It's really fast paced though. You have your abilities. I won't get too much into that because I don't fully understand that system yet. I just know you equip, you absorb monsters you kill and get their abilities or something. And they have different tiers of rarity, like green to like gold or whatever. And then it's a gotcha game, right? So you have your 5-star characters or whatever that you get from the summoning banners and stuff. Um, the one they started with was this dude with long green hair and a spear. And I'm sure you guessed, like, big thing with gotcha games, especially anime ones, it's about the female characters. So I don't think they've made like it's crazy to see how much money, like the articles I was reading, like they made nowhere near what like Genshin Impact made the first week, but the amount of money they did make, I'm kind of surprised considering their first week, like it just came out. Their first week, like the focused character is a guy, and they still made that kind of money. Um, but the next one coming in is it's this redhead chick, which I'm free to play. I'm saving all my currencies I can, just getting ready for that banner because I want that character. That's gonna be my character if I get it. If I don't get it, I'm not spending money. So then I guess I just quit the game. But we'll see. But Yeah, I'm generally surprised at the combat. Like going back to that, it's just so fluid. Luckily, my PC can run it at 60 frames. It is a mobile game also, but there's no controller support, and it being a fast-paced action game, mobile controls is just garbage. Like you can do like the intro to the game, you could do some of like the open world exploration fights, like just random encounter like monsters and stuff. But as soon as you get into something like a boss fight, I can't see anyone being able to do it on the mobile controls. And I just don't understand why there's no uh, controller support, because you can download it on PC through like Google uh, apps or whatever. Um, and it has controller support for the PC one. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I've been playing on PC. I would prefer to play it on mobile. My phone can run it decently, and I do have a controller with like a little mount I can put my phone in, but unfortunately I can't. So I've only been getting time in on the PC um, until they add mobile support, mobile controller support. That's honestly my only gripe with it so far. Outside of all the systems, I'm still kind of learning that come with a game like this. Um, I don't know if I would recommend it because at the end of the day, like the gacha genre is a very specific genre that, like, if you like it, you love it, and if you don't, then generally you're like, I'm good, like, So I just like anime waifus, so that's kind of what brought me to it, and that's what's going to keep me playing at least for a couple weeks. We'll see how it goes.
Nice. Yeah, it is very weird that there is controller support via like PC, but yeah,
Yeah.
you would think like if it's in one place, it would be in the other, but that at this point, like that should honestly be just like a staple for everything that comes out. Focus on having controller support because, like, well, like a lot of people do like keyboard and mouse. I think just having that controller support opens up the audience for a lot more potential players to like
Well,
play the
that's
game.
the thing too, is like it's like mainly pushed as a mobile game, even though it's clearly more ideal on a PC, but everybody has a phone. Not everyone has a PC, especially a PC that can game, right? So I just feel like the gotcha game system being about making money, obviously making a game that people want to play, but at the end of the day, it's about just that's the whole thing. Live service games, they're chasing like all these games being made right now, right? They're chasing that revenue. And I'm just baffled that they wouldn't have that at day one, because think of how many sales they could have made on mobile only players that just didn't happen because they stopped playing because there's no controller support. It sucks.
They gotta get that shit figured out ASAP.
Yeah. I would play it probably twice as much as I am now if it had it. I did find a third party way to do it, but like it's a little complicated, and I just don't care enough at the moment to put the time in to set it all up. So I'm just hopeful they do something about it in the coming weeks.
Well, but like that's totally fair too. Like you shouldn't have to put the time in to get it set up, right?
Yeah,
Like it should be convenient for the consumers who want to play the game. But yeah.
exactly.
John, is this a game you're gonna find yourself messing with?
No. I mean, I pretty much got my gotcha fix from what was it? Honkai Star Rail and obviously Genshin Impact. But honestly, I couldn't really get into Honkai Star Rail all that much. Genshin Impact, I got into a fair amount and played quite a bit. But yeah, no, I can't really see myself getting into another gotcha game. It kind of came and went for me.
We're gonna Are you gonna try Zenless Zone Zero when it comes out? Are you gonna pass?
Maybe that one's the more like MMO like style one, right?
From my understanding, without looking into it much, my assumption was that it's basically Genshin Impact, but modern. Like
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like if I look into it more and something piques my interest, I'll end up trying it out. Like these games are free, so it's not like
yeah, that is a fair point. Yeah, and at least
costing
with
an arm
Zenless
and a
Zone
leg.
Zero, like I know you specifically are a PC guy for the most part. Zenless Zone Zero, from my understanding, will be out day one on PlayStation, unlike Wuthering Waves, where it's not going to be on PlayStation for an unknown amount of time. And it's supposed to come, we just don't know when. So at least with that, like I would much rather be, because then I don't have to worry about controller support. I can just pop it open on the PlayStation. So
That
yeah,
also depends on like the UI and the menu and stuff. Like, hopefully, it's not a disaster.
I'm glad you said that, Chris.
Yeah.
Remember when we tried Tower Fantasy?
As soon as he said
This-
it, I just
Yeah. So for anyone out there that doesn't know, the Tower Fantasy menus, like they were clearly like ripped directly from not only the mobile version, but like the was that one Japanese or Korean? I can't remember. But whichever Asian location that was it was made in, everything was reversed. Like the buttons like that you would usually press like the right side of the button to do, it was the left, and just the navigation was horrendous. This game, however, like using my controller on the PC, it works exactly as you would think it would work. Like it literally feels like I was playing a game on my PlayStation. That's how just everything was intuitive. Like you press the button, it did exactly what you thought it would do. You press up on a joystick, it went exactly where you thought it would go. God, Tower of Fantasy's menus were so bad, dude. Oh my
well,
god.
I think
Well,
this. Go ahead.
even Genshin Impact's like menus aren't that great. You know,
Oh
like
really?
on console, yeah, they're horrible. So
Well, maybe that'll that might put Wuthering Waves at a bit of an advantage because essentially with these games, from what I was reading, they put like minor updates out every like 6 weeks. So it'll be a constant like week to week like tug of war between player base between Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves, because Zenless Zone Zero's update will come out and then the following week or something, or vice versa. It's like 1 week it'll be this game's update and then this game. So players will be like being pulled, like who actively play this genre of these gotcha type games will just be going back and forth, and like menus could be a big thing. It was for me. Like I stopped. I know Chris stopped really early, and I lasted maybe another week, and then I was like, I can't do this. This menu system is horrid.
Well, the thing that's like most ridiculous when you think back to Tower of Fantasy is the fact that, un- unlike this game, the version we were playing wasn't like a PC version or a mobile version. It was the PlayStation version. So it was a version that's specifically released on a console that is pretty often dependently played on controller, right? So it's like in the game where you need the controller to work well, it was just god awful. Like yeah, the menus I hopped off like almost immediately. I couldn't stand it. But then like when you look at this game that you're talking about, Anthony, Wuthering Waves, like it's not on mobile yet with like controller support, but like the fact that like the PC version of it, when playing on PC with the mobile controller version, when it like how it sounds that it's like incredibly leaps and waves like better than the other one. It's just like they fucked up so bad in Tower of Fantasy with that design. It was awful, man.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Anthony, any final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when they release this redhead chick. Forget her name. Ying Yang. Ying Lang. I'm not like that. It's Chinese in origin, so I'm pretty sure that's the name.
I was
Ying.
gonna say there is yin and yang, but I'm just like, is that like that's the first thing that just like popped in your head? All right, all right. John, you've been playing Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. How's it going?
it's yummy.
It's yummy.
It's so good. It's very yummy. Um, it's just as good as I remember it being. In fact, like it's probably the game that has aged the best in all these years. Like it is. I feel like they didn't make too many changes to the core gameplay. To the graphics, obviously, like it looks beautiful. It looks phenomenal. The gameplay is the same. It's exactly the same, and it's so intuitive and so like so involved. Like every battle is like full of basically little mini games because your jump you have to press A just before the jump hits to do like a successful like double jump thing, and like the Yoshi character, you have to like hold the ZR button until the gauge fills up to actually like do a successful attack. And even like the special attacks, the star attacks, the earthquake star, you have to press A at the right timing as much as you can until it gets to the final one, and it does more damage the more gauges you fill up. Like, this game is crazy good, and the traversal skills, like you can get Mario to like be a paper airplane and like float to like a gap that you can't reach normally, or you can roll them up into like a ball, more like a tube to like get underneath places to access like different areas. And the colorful characters. Oh my god! Like what's the one that I sent? Miss Flurry. She's like a wind spirit, but she's like an ex-actress, and she's just like this thick ghost. Who's
She thick?
she a thick ghost.
Yeah, go.
Whose attacks are all like either like flying through the air to crush the enemy, or like kissing Mario, or kissing the enemies to like take their health and stuff. And her like on map ability is you blow like wind, and you can actually like because the game everything's paper, right? You blow pieces of paper away to like reveal like a hidden path or something. Yeah, man, I really want to play it right now. You know, it's just that good. I just don't want to stop playing it.
Nice. How much time have you sunk into it so far?
I'm on chapter 4, so maybe about 7-8 hours.
Okay, yeah, so a decent chunk of time.
It's not
sunk
yeah,
into.
it's not like a super long RPG. It can be if you make it. You know what I mean? If you want to grind everything, but you can make it through the story pretty quickly.
Nice. Anthony, I know you're waiting eventually for a sale for this thing, but any thoughts, any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to jump in once it goes on sale. Hopefully, hard copy. I much prefer that route. Honestly, I might even instead of waiting for a sale, I'll just next time I'm at the Game MD, our local used game shop, like the what do you call that? Like a mom and pop
Yeah,
shop
mom and pop shop.
that we like going to. Maybe next time I'm there, I'll see if he has any and see what they're going for, and if not, maybe I'll ask him like if he had any that were just in standard condition, like not damaged, like just standard level of condition, what he would ask for, just so I kind of know what the going price is for a used copy right now. I could always also jump on Facebook, hit up Marketplace, maybe keep an eye out on there. Because honestly, if I go that route, I could probably get it much sooner than waiting for a sale. And then me and my kid could jump in, and well, chances are I'll be playing 90% of it, but who knows? He's been playing Roblox a bit more, and he's getting a lot better at the movements. So who knows? Maybe he'll play most of it, which would be nice. Because it'd be nice that so I could, because I just need him to get good enough to play Destiny. That's all I want.
Just gotta build them up for that.
We got to start at step 1. We can't go to step 10. We got to start step 1. So this seems like he loves Mario. He's seen the Mario movie several times. He's got lots of Mario clothes, plushies, stuff like that. So, and not to mention, like for me, like I loved Super Mario or Paper Mario 64, or I don't know if that was the official name, but the one on 64. Like I remember that being so good when I was a kid. So it'll be great. Like it'll kind of have a nostalgic feel. I know it's Thousand Year Door, and I never played the original, but it's Paper Mario, and my only connection to the series is from when I was a kid on 64. It'll just be a great feeling to have that while playing with my kid. So like he'll have a similar memory for Thousand Year Door, maybe 20, even unless he's one of those people that grow up and just stop playing video games, which I can't comprehend those people. Like how do they live?
You're just like, I won't let it happen. Well,
Yeah.
Well, literally sounded like you're like, I just need him to get good. You know, like just before you like said for Destiny, it's just like get good. God damn. Yeah, I don't really have much to say because I repeated like I don't have a Switch. I don't have a desire to get a Switch, but like I said, if when the new Switch system comes out, or like Nintendo system comes out, I pick that up. If it's got the backwards compatibility, this will be one of like the quicker picks for me to grab just to kind of finally experience it.
Speaking of your history with Switches, Chris, the last like week or so, or no, it was when we went to that local like Colasantes, that animal and plant place. Um, I was kicking myself that when I bought things off of you, like a couple Switch games, I think it was just the Switch games at the time. One of the games you had was uh, um, Mario Party, I think,
Oh yeah, the
if I remember
first one
correctly.
that came out on Switch.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of the game, so I didn't get it from you. And then lo and behold, Lincoln's like obsessed with Mario Party. I forget why I mentioned Calasantes. I don't even think that's part of the
Mario was
conversation.
just like working at Colasantes. He's hit rough times, you know.
Yeah, but no, he's been watching like he watches videos of people like it's literally just the gameplay of people playing Mario Party. I should have bought that from you at the
Well,
time. Now it's Nintendo, right? So the games never go down in price.
to be fair though, like that one was not the good one. Like the newer one that they came out with, I think Mario Party Superstars or something like that, has like all like the trademark games, like all the good ones. The one that came
Oh,
out
okay.
like or like early in the life cycle of the Switch that I had, like I enjoyed it just because I do like Mario Party. But like I remember from the few times I hosted like parties at my place, right? Everyone was over. It was like last thing people wanted to play. Like obviously, like there were other things like Mario Kart, even Mario Tennis. Well, granted, like I really love that Mario Tennis game on Switch, but yeah, it was that. I think I only liked it because at the time it was the only Mario Party game on Switch. It was like I'll take what I can get. But yeah, from what I heard, I know Sean's praised the newer one a lot.
The newer one.
Yeah.
All right, I'll keep an eye out for that one then. You said it's Superstars?
I think it's
Yeah,
Superstars. Yeah,
yeah.
it is
Yeah.
Superstars. Okay.
Okay.
John, any final thoughts on this before we move on?
Yummy.
All right. So next up, new game on the list, Destiny 2. Never ever talked about this. This is the final week leading into final shape. The hype levels have reached unbearable. It is like I I've been the time I was able to play games this week was spent on Destiny, continuing to get God roll shinies like for Onslaught while I can. I ended up getting like a really good one, Anthony of the Hammerhead. First column or third column, Envious Assassin Rewind rounds. Fourth column, Killing Tally Onslaught. So like
Nice.
yeah, like a really good ad killing weapon. Yeah, no, just it's funny. Like I usually each year get the titles for every season. Uh, I kind of like slacked on 3 of the season titles this year, and I kind of hit that point in this final week. Do I want to get these done, or do I want to grind the shinies and Onslaught? And I was like, yeah, fuck the titles and all that. I did end up getting that Bright Dust payout. I didn't have to do the Neo Numa bounty one. I turns out I never did the Throne Rolled one, and I only needed one more thing
Oh,
to do, which was
nice.
basically like I did 2 Lost Sector runs and turned in 3 bounties, and it was done. But
Nice.
yeah, no, I'm hyped. I'm going through withdrawals right now because the servers are offline. Obviously, they're getting things ready for tomorrow. Can't wait. It's a safe bet. This will be the only thing I'm playing next week because Final Shape is gonna be good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that that trailer that came out this week, the launch trailer and all that, fucking really, I think, helped get those
Oh
hype
yeah.
levels even higher. And I don't know if you saw Anthony. I mean, obviously for us, the Bungie shipping price is freaking brutal, but the Cade monument in the tower, they have a sculpt of that you can order through their website now and all that. Yeah,
Damn.
it's like $200
Yeah,
US.
shipping on that, $200.
Yeah, US. So
Oh,
like the shipping's
yeah,
probably going to be at least half, maybe more than
at
that.
least, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They need a
Yeah.
Canadian wins, man.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with Destiny. Yeah, just kind of just doing the finishing things to get ready for final shape. What about you, Anthony?
I'm definitely on the same page as you with with the titles from the seasons. Started for me the last season of last year. I had a few things left to do. I was running out of time, and I'm like, I looked at the name of the title, and I'm like, will I ever wear this title? I'm like, no. And then same with, so that's what I did this season. I looked at each season title, and I'm like, does this title sound cool? Would I wear it? If the answer was no, and I still hadn't finished it, I just opted not to, because it like especially because they always require you to do like for example, um, the one for Season of the Defiance, I'm pretty sure it required you to complete the Legend Defiant Battleground for each version. And I think I had one of the three, and it wasn't matchmaking, right? So then I had to get people together or do LFG, I guess. But I was like, no, no, I'm good. Yeah, I spent. My plan was to take most of the week off to get him to just kind of have a bit of a break in between. But then I just got this inclination of like this. We don't know where Destiny's going after this. Potentially Destiny 3, maybe continue Destiny 2. But kind of for now, I'm kind of registering as like the finale, right? So I'm like, I'm a Warlock main, but I'm planning to try this year to, while still maintaining a Warlock main, to be polyamorous, if you know what I mean. Like I'm gonna play all the classes. So basically all week I played through all the campaigns on the Titan and finished whatever campaigns I had left on the Hunter and unlocked all the subclasses. I know we're getting prismatic, so maybe that might not be as important unless you don't get access to them through prismatic without having them unlocked. I don't know, but I did consider doing the legend campaign for all of them too. But I forgot. I just saw it today. I totally forgot about this. The thing where all three of your characters will maintain the same level based on which character has the highest. So because of that detail, I'm like, okay, obviously then I'm not gonna do all three because there's really no real benefit at that point, I don't think, right? Unless I'm missing something.
The only thing would be is if they did the typical thing, but it's hard to say because with the reworks to Master Rahul is like if you could claim an exotic at the end of it. But even then, with the rework for him, you don't even need to do that, right? Like second go around, because once you hit that certain rank with him, you can just focus any engram and just get the ones you need.
Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of backed off on that idea, which is nice because that leaves me more time post campaign to grind destination stuff, destination activity stuff, whatever it is we're looking at. Because I know the season or the episodal stuff doesn't kick in till next week, I think, right? So,
Yeah.
um, and honestly, whether I'm at work or not, I'm watching the raid race. I cannot. I know I'm not one to like go in blind for raids. I don't like doing that personally, so I'm not worried about spoilers in that regard. I guess, but there's technically going to be story spoilers, right? If I in that regard, because isn't the finale to like technically the campaign is the raid?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they're saying? Okay, maybe.
From my understanding, though, I could be wrong. I remember them saying post, post Worlds first. I don't know if it's the Tuesday or the next day, like post Worlds first. They're going to release like the ending cinematic or something like the like
Okay.
for just so like for like the people who don't play raids. I think that way they can kind of experience at least a part of it. I could be totally wrong. I remember. I feel like I remember reading that somewhere.
I mean, that would make sense for them to do because, like, I know while we here have all rated and like we have our friends, like a lot of our friends that have played have rated. I'm pretty sure the percentage of players that raid is not very high. So like it would kind of suck to just completely isolate the ending of the story from that huge portion of the fan base. So I think what you're saying sounds like something they would do. So yeah, which okay. Yeah, I'll have to think about whether I'm going to watch the raid race now or not. If there's an emblem though, maybe I'll throw it on anyways just to get it from Twitch.
Yeah, there is an emblem. I remember them talking about that in a twid. There will be one.
Oh, nice. Dude, last night I was my kids went to bed. My wife's working midnight, so she leaves for work. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna jump on, button up any last minute things, buy some raid banners. Um, I max out my glimmer from Raoul with legendary shards, use up any engrams, whatever. It's this like 8:30 p.m. I'm on. I was completing a catalyst for a gun I was thinking of using for the campaign. I just get disconnected. And I'm like, what the hell? Next thing you know, it's like my internet's out. And it was out for like an hour and a half. I was so mad. I'm like, I have things I have to do before tomorrow. Like I'm not gonna wake up early enough. Well, I mean I ended up waking up early enough, but I was like, I have to stay up till my internet comes back on. Which if it did about 2 hours later. So thankfully, but I was literally like so mad, dude. I couldn't do anything else. I was just fuming so bad. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't play like a single player game. I was just constantly thinking about all the stuff I needed to make sure I had done. But thankfully, I'm all good. I was ready. I logged off with the feels of this is it. This is the end of Lightfall. And then I logged off, and now we wait.
Yeah, like
Brutally wait.
when I got home from the trip, I was tired, but I basically ate dinner and cracked a monster. I had a full, fresh episode of Sacred Symbols to listen to from Friday, and then the Sacred Plus. So I just grinded a bunch of Onslaught. I finished off, like I said, I finished off like the seasonal quest for to get the payout, and I did a decent chunk of Crucible as well. Trying to get that fucking Riptide before, like just like the perfect Riptide of auto loading that from Gold and Vorpal chill clip, and it's still fucking like I reset Crucible I think 9 times, 9 or 10 times this season, and not only has like it not dropped for me, but like 2 or 3 of the weapon drops I got last night didn't even have extra perks in the columns, and I was just like defeated. I was like, I can't fucking do it. Like it just, yeah.
Destiny sometimes, man. It's just
That RNG, man. That RNG.
yeah.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway going into Final Shape is I really hope they do the Onslaught shiny thing for more things in the future. Like just have those limited time variants. Like
Mhm.
that was like the most motivated I was to grind for something in a long time. Like I like, yeah, it was a good time. John, any thoughts on Destiny?
Space magic. Oh yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
All right,
It's space.
Anthony, any final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, dude, I cannot wait. Like I was just telling my friend Dustin this earlier today. I'm like, I don't remember the last time I was like done all my like house chores, whatever. I was home alone, and I was just bored. Because like my current lifestyle is like when the moment arrives where I'm like, what should I do? And if I can't think of something, I'm like, I'll just play Destiny. And that's just it's been what I insert into any downtime between other like if I'm TV show like the follow show I watch anime, a couple of single player games I'll experience, but like Destiny's what I just toss in between everything. So without it there today, I was just sitting there. I'm like, what do I do? Like I I didn't know what to do. I tried putting on some YouTube videos. Yeah, it was a rough day. I considered taking a nap, but then I'm like, oh, it'll mess my day up tomorrow. So I just cannot wait. I'll be counting the hours. At least now I have that Monster Hunter Now game to kind of kill some time before I go to bed. I might even play it a bit tomorrow, because I don't have to work tomorrow. I'll probably play that tomorrow because obviously we won't be able to play it till at least 1 p.m. assuming things go well on their end. So can't wait, man.
No, I was 100% in the same boat as you of like, how the fuck am I gonna like what am I gonna do today? Which one of the benefits of the whole trip was like pushing the recording to today, the Monday, is like, hey, at least this eats up some of that time. And there was a couple things I was able to feel like we watched today, a couple of shows we watched the first episode of the new Mayor of Kingstown season. The first episode came out yesterday. And then thankfully Sony was like, hey, here's the Venom trailer for Venom 3 and all that. So I just watched that a bunch of times and then watched some reactions to it. So, and I was sinking some time into another Crab's Treasure trying to get the platinum. But it's like one of those things I didn't throw it in the topic list for this because I was like, I think so far I've said what I've needed to say for another Crab's Treasure. So it's kind of like, I don't want to just like repeat things on it, right? But yeah, it's every time I'm playing, it's like every time I was playing it today, I was just like, "You're not Destiny," and I want that right now. Like, I feel fucking impatient. All right. Next up, we will talk about the state of play that I just aired last week. So a lot of cool stuff we saw, in my opinion, at least. Astrobot, Concord, which comes out August 23rd. So the beta that comes out in July, a really cool thing is if you pre-order it, it gets you access to the beta for you and up to 4 friends. So I'm currently like leaning toward, I think I'm going to pre-order it. So basically, John, Anthony, Sean, and Mark, I can hook you guys up with the beta code just to give it a feel when that happens. We also got the God of War Ragnarok PC announcement. Until Dawn remake, saw more of that. Skydance's Bahamut, Path of Exile 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, Alien Rogue Incursion, Silent Hill 2. We got the release date for that, which is October 8th. Marvel Rivals closed beta test. Showed off Venom. Immediately got me into the game. Dynasty Warriors Origins, Ballad of Antara, Infinity Nikki, and Where Winds Meet. I think the first thing I'm going to say about this is there's actually a really good chunk of like diversity in the games that were presented, right? Like, I'm trying to think back. There's like one Nintendo showcase where it was like, felt like 75% like farming sims or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I really appreciated just the diversity of it. Not everything necessarily hit with me. Concord, I'm like hesitant about. I think just like the humor doesn't really mesh with me at the moment. But I will say that's how I felt about the Guardians of the Galaxy game, like when it was being promoted. But I actually ended up really loving that game. So the gameplay looks really solid for Concord. Definitely gives me some Destiny vibes in there. Astrobot is, I think, the biggest thing I was excited for. I love the Astrobot's Playroom that comes with PS5. I think that's probably one of the best tech demos we've ever seen. Because like that, I think for me, platinuming that was like a 6 to 7 hour experience, and you get that free. Like, and it has me excited for like a full on release from this team. Path of Exile 2, I'm a little up in the air with. Like, it looks to be much better experience than Diablo. But I think the thing that like sets me back is, I know, Anthony, we've talked about this a bit, your experiences with the first one, how like complicated it can be with like skill trees and stuff like that. That is very intimidating. So like, I'm kind of uncertain at the moment. Monster Hunter Wilds, man, that gameplay looked fucking good. I'm not gonna lie, that looked fucking really good. I'm definitely in on that. No idea how to feel about Silent Hill 2.
Fuck yeah! Sorry. I got excited when you said you're in.
Yeah, like I'm like I can't even like there's no video of you, so like I don't see any movement or anything like that, and I'm looking at the list and I just hear like a fuck yeah. I'm like trying to not be like what the fuck, like
Sorry,
scared
sorry,
shitless a bit there for like
sorry.
Jesus. Marvel Rivals, yeah, I know Sean praised it a lot. Uh we all knew my hesitations. I was like, well, it was basically once Venom is in this, I'm in it, and the fact that they showed him off in the trailer, he'll be in that beta. I'm super fucking psyched for. Yeah, I think yeah, Ballad of Antara and Where the Winds Meets are like the ones on my maybe list of like I think I could mesh with these, but I'm gonna have to see more kind of thing. John, since you scared the shit out of me, I'll let you go next. What are you excited about on this list?
Oh man, what am I not excited for on this list? Concord, that opening cinematic kind of like drew me in a lot. I know you were saying, oh, it didn't strike me right with the humor and stuff, but I was gonna make that comparison with Guardians of the Galaxy. I never played the game, but it kind of gave me that kind of vibe, like the Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. Astro's Playroom was fun. Astrobot looks even better, so I can't wait for that either. God of War Ragnarok on PC, I'm not even going to be able to run it, but I am very excited for the two remakes that were announced. Until Dawn, such a good game, and that was my first game in kind of like that Telltale type uh, vibe that I played, and I was hooked. The story was phenomenal. The game was phenomenal. Couple jump scares in there, awesome.
Jump
Uh,
scares. I
v-
wonder what that's like, you know.
Fuck yeah! The VR stuff doesn't really interest me all that much until I get a VR headset for PlayStation. Path of Exile 2, I'm gonna play it on PC if I am gonna play it. I'm not really gonna get into it on PlayStation. I think I'm most excited for Monster Hunter Wilds, to be honest with you. That gameplay, like, oh my god, it's crazy. It looks like Monster Hunter World on steroids. Like, just the monsters too, like the way their like tongues move and like the drool comes out, and like, oh man, like it looks phenomenal, and I can't wait to mess around with some of those weapons and see what changed and what didn't change. Silent Hill 2, my favorite Silent Hill game, so that I am absolutely pumped for. And then I cannot go without mentioning Marvel Rivals, the closed beta. As much as I would prefer this on PC, I am gonna play it on PlayStation. Um, just to like get a feel for it and see if it's any different than Overwatch on the PlayStation, because I just couldn't get like I couldn't quite grasp the shooting mechanic. Like, I'm not very good at aiming with a controller. Um, Dynasty Warriors Origins, yes, please give that to me. Ballad of Antara, meh, maybe. Uh, Infinity Nikki, I think one of the boys at Kind of Funny is a fan of this, from what I believe. Like, I think somebody was talking about it a lot at one point. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Tim.
I could see this being,
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, no, crazy. I think what I'm most excited for would be Monster Hunter Wilds, of course, like being the fanboy that I am. Sorry to go off on a tangent there, but yeah,
Oh no, you're
that
good.
it was a phenomenal state of play.
Yeah, no, I think this was a much needed kind of like momentum push. Like I've definitely seen people be hesitant. Like some people didn't really feel with it. But I think when you have like a mixed bag of this and obviously they're not going to show like exclusives that are far down the line, like say Wolverine and Venom and all that, and even Ghost 2, like chances are we probably won't see that. Maybe like a fall like showcase or something like that is probably when we'll first see that. But I feel like if you had your expectations in check, this was pretty much a solid fucking showcase, which like my expectations were. Anthony, what were your thoughts on this state of play?
So real quick, I just want to point out I pulled up the list of games on blog.playstation.com. It's like this whole article, and the opening image, I just realized it's Astrobot, but he looks like Kratos. It's awesome. But yeah, just going down this list. So Astro Boy, I know Chris, you and I initially didn't have much interest. But with you mentioning like the free version that I've never played, I'm gonna try it out with my kid to see if he has interest. Because if he does, this being like a full title game, because you're saying Astrobot Playroom or whatever is like 7 hours or something for the platinum. So very small experience, but if he's digging it and this is a full game, that's great. Like I'm always looking for more games for him to try and grasp. My only hesitation, I guess, would be that it's PS5, and I currently only have one working controller, and he is 5 years old, so sketchy territory. I do have my other one with the stick drift, but our friend Sean said he thinks he can fix it, so I'll probably hit him up for that around the time that I have to start letting Lincoln use the PS5. Inevitably, I'm going to have to buy another PS5 at some point. Concord, yeah, I'm hesitant with that one. But like you said, Chris, if was this the one you were saying it came with like 4
Yeah,
friend
yeah.
codes?
So like, I'll get 4 extra beta codes to like give to you guys, so you'll
So
no problem be able to try it like for free, no cost.
nice. So yeah, that's great because um, everything about it looks cool, but it's just like the fact that it's a you know purely PvP based game. Kind of hesitant, but at least experiencing it would definitely at least give hands on. Really see how it sits with me. Whereas like Marvel Rivals, similar boat, except I was watching Sean play on his stream when he was in like that closed beta or whatever it was, alpha. I don't know. Um, Everything just looked really cool. The move sets look really cool. It's recognizable characters with more to come. Um, so there's definitely a bit more of a pull to that one. And as far as we know, that one is going to be free for sure.
Yeah, it
Uh,
should be.
so that again, another bit of a different story. Um, but yeah, like you're saying, with you having the code, that changes things at least from the initial. Like I'm willing to now wait and see till we get the hands-on experience before I make a call on that. Um, Path of Exile 2. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I just checked, John, and I don't have like the recommended specs on this PC, but I do have just over the minimum. So I'm down to, and it's free to play. So even if like say it just doesn't work that great and I have to switch, um, although is it cross play?
Well, if you're in, I'm in. I'll play on whatever console you're playing on.
Well, no, I know you're a PC guy, and I don't mind PC, especially for these style games. Um, but I'm gonna check if it's crossplay because if it's crossplay, I'll probably because I'll get a smoother game like gameplay experience on the PS5. But I can make it work here. I just have to limit probably the frame rate to 30 or something. Um, but I feel like I remember them saying it was cross progression, cross
I
play.
honestly couldn't see why it wouldn't be cross-platform. Like,
I think it might be. Um, I feel like I remember seeing that in the footage. But I mean,
Well,
we can
yeah,
verify that.
Path of Exile 2 will also feature crossplay and cross progression.
fuck yeah.
Perfect. Fucking perfect. Um, Monster Hunter Wilds. Hell yeah. Like I am a newbie to the series. My first game was technically Monster Hunter Worlds. Um, and I was just blown away. I tried previous games in the series and just the difficulty, the hump never got past, but I was playing it by myself. Monster Hunter Worlds jumped in with you guys, got past that hump and got hooked into the gameplay loop of kill monsters, get stuff, make gear to kill stronger monsters, and then over time you just get better at the game, master the weapon you're using. So I cannot wait. This game looks amazing. The fights, the graphics, they look awesome. The fact that like I'm pretty sure in that one scene in the footage when he gets downed and then his mount picks him up, while he's mounted, he switches weapons. and then he's using a different. So like you can, I'm pretty sure, use 2 different weapons in combat. To some degree. I don't know if you like. I don't think you could just be standing there and click a button and switch. But like your mount, I believe, is going to be carrying a second weapon that you can swap to while you're on it. Um, which just opens up, if that is true. Which I'm pretty sure that's what I read some articles saying that that's what it looked like, and I rewatched it, and it does look like that's what's happening. That's going to be crazy. Like you could do like a ranged and a melee, or do like a quick melee, like a maybe a more defensive weapon with like a high damage weapon, like to swap to. Who knows? Um, I just can't wait to play it, and play a co-op is going to be great. It's going to be a bit rusty for me because it's been a long time since I played one. So I'm gonna have to kind of ease back into it, the controls, and just like prepare myself for some level of frustration in dying until I can kind of get those skills back. But I'm ready to do it because I had a lot of fun with Monster Hunter Worlds and Rise. I know me and you, John, we played Rise for a little bit as well. So yeah, can't. That's probably I'm probably in the same boat. This is probably the biggest game here that I'm pumped for. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's a couple more. Oh no, just the one. Okay, so Infinity Nikki. So my kid is like obsessed with like Disney princesses and like their different dresses and stuff. So, and he was sitting next to me when I was watching this, and like instantly he was like, "What's that? Who's that?" So there's a chance I'm gonna end up having to play this game, but we'll see. Who knows? Like the release date. I can't remember if it had a release date. Was it this year? It doesn't say in the article. Oh, beta test due later this year. Okay, so beta test later this year might not come out till early next year. So who knows? His interest might change, and if they do, I'm not getting it. But if they don't, then I might pick it up. But there's a couple other games here that I was kind of like, that looks interesting, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get them. Or if I do, it'll be like when they're heavily discounted, or if they're free on PS Plus at one day or something.
Yeah, I will say like I think to finish it off on like the state of play, um going back to Astrobot, I think one of the things that would be very cool for like for Link, your son, to like experience from it, because one of the biggest parts of it being like the tech demo that launched with PS5 is it was the game that really showcased the DualSense controller. So like with the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers, like they had moments where like you had the bull and you a bow, you'd pull it back and you'd feel the tension in the triggers, and like you'll like if you'll hover like with water and like you'll feel like the water pressure in the controller, or like you'll run and hit coins and you'll feel like the coins like hit you I see that being a really cool experience for him, because it adds that whole new layer of like what's happening right now and all that, because like even as an adult, like when I first experienced that, I was like, this is fucking unreal and all that, and it really showcases like the dual sense and like how cool of a controller it is, because like we've seen some games like really utilize it, like I think Spider-Man's a great example of like when you feel like the
Yeah.
tension and the web swings and all that. But I think when that day comes, I think it'll be a cool experience for the both of you with Astrobot and all that.
Yeah, thinking about it, I mean, granted, I don't play a wide variety of titles, but I think thinking back, I can only think of 2 games I've played that utilized, at least specifically, like the trigger haptics, like the pressure, like, the resistance in the triggers. And it was Spider-Man and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I think those are the only 2, like for when you're shooting. I remember it because I remember thinking how it was so cool, but then after 30 hours of playing, I was like, okay, my finger's getting sore from shooting.
Yeah.
You can kind of feel it in Final Fantasy 16 when you do like the door things. Like anytime you open a door,
Right. Yeah. I totally
I
forgot about that.
remember it being pretty good in that. Like the vibrations, especially, it utilized.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it'll be more so for him, but I'll probably again, he's not quite at the level yet, so chances are I'll probably be playing most of it while he watches. So I'll definitely get to experience all the stuff you're talking about, Chris.
Yeah, which, like I said, even for you, I think it'll just be a really fun, cool experience. But moving on. Next up, so this was originally going to be a topic last week because like it was first kind of like teased and announced, but like they had, I think today, more information come out for it. So I'm kind of glad I saved it for this week. So Asus like fully announced and showcased like the ROG Ally X. This will ship July 22nd. So the design of the color has swapped from the Ally's original white design to a new black design, very similar to the like Steam Deck. It has the same AMD Z1 Extreme chipset and the same screen. This is considered a revision and not a sequel. So kind of like the Switch and the Switch OLED, and like the Steam Deck and the Steam Deck OLED. It's been upgraded to an 80-watt battery to the previously it was a 40. Smaller fans that are more powerful, like thinner fan blades reduce the audible noise bump. New joysticks that are more durable. Now has 2 USB-C ports instead of just one of which is now compatible with Thunderbolt 4. SSD slot has been upgraded to a full-length M.2 2280. Previously it was the 2230. Memory upgrade, 24 gigabytes that clocked at 7500 megahertz. I believe that's the right terminology. Apologies if that's wrong. Previously it was 16 gigabytes at 6400. Storage size upgraded to 1 terabyte, previously 512. This one is priced at 1,099 Canadian compared to the original Ally, which was 89.99. Or no, 899.99. Yeah, I kind of threw this in because I have the original one right here, the Extreme model. I had the Steam Deck. I got rid of it. My biggest issues was a lot of the things I wanted to play on it, I couldn't. One of which was the Kingdom Hearts collection, which is now finally coming to Steam, and the other being Destiny, which Steam Deck was not compatible for because it's Linux, Linux, which doesn't mesh with Destiny's anti-cheat software, and just there's just like various other reasons that I got rid of the Steam Deck, and eventually like I started looking into this and I decided to give it a shot, and honestly, I really love this thing. It's stupid to say. One of the things I use it for, I used to have a laptop when I play games like on the TV, and I had the laptop like play like a video podcast of like Sacred Symbols and all that. But the laptop kind of crapped out on me. So this has taken the place for that. And honestly, like the speakers are really good for what it is. Like I'll usually keep it on about like 42 out of like the 100 max for the speakers, and like the sound is very clear and very loud even at the like that low of a level. When I play games on it, it's freaking crazy, like being able to play Destiny, like like I said, I couldn't play it on the train because the train Wi-Fi was absolute garbage. But when I was at the hotel this weekend, I played about an hour, 2 hours of Crucible just on the Ally, just meshing around, like grinding that. Um, no, it's nuts how some of the games look. Like Kingdom Hearts, being able to play that at 1080p, 60 FPS, in just handheld form. It's something I really like. The Ally X, some of the upgrades are pretty tempting, but like this is obviously not a sequel to like the device, I think it makes more sense to hold off. For myself, definitely. I think the thing that would have made me want to do the upgrade is if they did what Steam Deck did and had the OLED screen. I think that would have been like the final push to be like, yeah, you know what, I'll go for it. Because yeah, it is not a cheap price tag. That is for sure. Yeah, Anthony, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean it's cool that they're expanding on it and keeping it going. Obviously, it must be doing well, especially with like the benefits over Steam Deck. You're saying, like, I'm sure there's probably more things that fell victim to what you were talking about with it being Linux and not being available on Steam or whatever like the hangups were. I remember people talking about workarounds and stuff, but I mean that's extra stuff you got to do, right? So obviously they must be doing well to expand into a what'd you call it? Not like a what was the phrasing you used? Like it's not like a new one. It's like
A revision.
a revision. Yeah. Um, it's not something I think I would pursue just because, like for example, this laptop I'm on right now that I use for gaming, it's not very powerful, but most of the time it does what I need it to do, and I bought it on sale for like $8.99. So that price point equivalent to rate, because this is like maybe 4 or 5 years old. If I were to spend that amount of money, I would probably look into getting another laptop to get one step up. Like, because this thing has a GTX 1050. I'd imagine during sale seasons, I might be for like $900, $1,000. I could probably get something probably almost twice as powerful as this laptop now. So I'd probably put my efforts there just because like I'm not like John. I don't lean more towards PC, but it is within my split of gaming, probably about 30, 20, 30%. So, and handhelds, like, I actually bought the Portal off of you, right, Chris, for the PlayStation. All I'm missing right now is just the better internet, which I have plans to do. It's just procrastination. It's really why it hasn't happened yet. Um, so the only benefit I could see really for me with one of these would be traveling. Because obviously the portal's not really going to do much for me there unless I'm already at my destination with like strong Wi-Fi. Because you can't download games on it, right? So, um, but I'm a hermit. I rarely travel. I don't like traveling. Um, so product's not for me. Even the Steam Deck, it wasn't for me. Like it's cool a concept, and I like seeing where the industry's going with handhelds. Like constantly, like when Steam Deck came out, then all of a sudden there was like the Lenovo one or something, and then now the Asus one. Like I'm glad it's not just Steam Deck because that keeps them all competitive, right? Like this rendition might not have even happened if it was the only one in the space right now. So like I love to see it. Maybe one day I could jump into it. Maybe one day I will have to because if I end up having another kid, fast forward 10 years, they're both playing video games. There's only so many TVs and consoles we're going to have that maybe that's the route I go is I just swap to gaming on mobile more frequently than I do now. So. But as of right now, um, it's not for me,
Oh yeah.
especially at that price.
No, that's totally fair. And like looking at it from a logical point of view, like I said, like this version doesn't necessarily like entice me to get it, but like when they eventually do an Ally 2, chances are that I will very much get, which will mean I will then have the original Ally I need to offload. So like chances are like sell that to you for like a cheap price or something like that. Yeah, one of the things that made me end up picking up this too was it was around Christmas time, and like the original model is priced at $8.99, but it was on sale for $6.99, so it was like $200 off. So I was just like,
Oh, nice.
it's a pretty good discount. So that I ended up getting it for that reason, and I have not regretted it ever since. I really do like this thing. I think one of my only major complaints with it, outside of the fault, like the issue with the overheating, when you put micro SDs in, uh, they can it's like the heat from the system with how they designed it. It messes with it, so like they won't register sometimes. But like I with what I keep on it, I don't have a need for like the micro SDs as at least at the moment. But I think yeah, my only real complaint is I'm just not a fan of like white for devices like this, like controllers, like the DualSense Edge. Like I prefer black because like you don't have to worry about like it looking dirty, which white unfortunately tends to happen. But like at the very least, like with this right here, it got like the case and all that. That helps me not have to worry about that. Yeah, no, I do really like this thing. John, I know you have a Steam Deck, and I know for a while you've been like looking to offload the Steam Deck. What are your thoughts on just like the Ally and all that?
It's cool. I like the whole concept of it. The thing is, I don't really have much use for a handheld. Like much like Anthony, I don't like to travel. I don't like to go places. My Steam Deck has been sitting here for a while. I'm actually trying to sell it. I need to post it on the marketplace or something. Um, yeah, I don't have much use for a handheld. I don't use my Switch in handheld mode at all. I usually have it docked. Like it was collecting dust. Now I'm playing Paper Mario. I've actually been toying around with some of the like other like throwback console things on it. Especially at that price point though, I couldn't see myself getting something like that. It just unrealistic for me. Forever for whoever it works for. I mean, good. That's awesome. Like people have their uses for it. Me, not so much.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally fair. That's the thing. Like everyone has like their own things they kind of click with, right? At the for this, this just like had a lot of things that just like really worked for me, and yeah, it's not something. I think the only person I ever really recommended this to in our group was Mark, and that was when he was having issues with his like laptop and all that. Because I just found, especially with his love for Xbox, the whole how it integrates with the Game Pass system, like some of the cool things is like what may very much surprise you. This thing runs Starfield. Like, I mean, like not like incredible, like, but like it runs like Cyberpunk. Like it runs some
Okay.
like pretty powerful games. Like again, like you're not gonna get like crazy graphics, but like trying to think, I can't remember what's like Cyberpunk was like running at, but I think I had like pretty much Starfield. I think it was like 900p, and like I was hitting like that 30 frames benchmark, which at the time Starfield, while it was 4K on Xbox, it wasn't running higher than 30, right? So it's like you're getting similar experiences there, but
Right.
yeah, like even Destiny runs pretty well on it. It is that one thing that is just very weird. We experienced this at one of our drafts, right? When me and Sean, and I think you, John, right? Like the three of us, when we did that pummel party competition, we played on Steam Deck. And
Yeah.
we were at such a severe disadvantage for the first person games just because I don't know what it is about having the controllers separated on the screen. Like, if it just like, if it fucks with almost like your dexterity or something, but like my gameplay is so shit in handheld form compared to whatchamacallit, like a traditional controller. Because it's funny, what I did, I brought an Xbox controller with me, and I had this on like at the table in our hotel room. So I just like had my ally standing, and I was just like using a controller, looking at the little tiny screen, playing Destiny. But like, it worked for the experience. It was like that or no Destiny at all. So I will take that over
Yeah.
no Destiny at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those are pretty much my thoughts on the Ally X. Like, it's cool. I think it like for people who are like looking into getting an Ally and don't have one. I think this is the smart play. Go for this one, obviously instead. All right. Next up, we have Dead by Daylight, Dungeons and Dragons launch. So as of recording, which is today, Monday, June 3rd, this just released. Vecna is the new killer. Astri Yazar, a bard, is the new survivor. Obviously comes with a new map. The DLC pack for this is $10.99 Canadian. So Vecna can cycle through and cast some unique spells. So One is Mage Hand. Conjure a magical hand to lift a downed pallet or briefly block an upright pallet. Flight of the Damned. Send a row of 5 flying spectral entities that can pass through obstacles and injure survivors. Dispelling Sphere. Cast an invisible moving sphere that reveals survivors and temporarily disables their magic items. Fly. Briefly fly to quickly traverse a long distance, bypassing pallets and vaults. Special items. Magical items. Vecna spawns several treasure chests across the map containing magic items. Boots and gauntlets that survivors can use. Each magic item is connected to a specific spell, acting whenever Vecna casts it. Survivors can equip 1 pair of boots and 1 pair of gauntlets at a time. Additional special items, Hand and Eye of Vecna. There's a slight chance of survivors that they can find Hand or Eye of Vecna in a treasure chest. When picked up, fully healed survivors can use a special ability at the cost of 1 health state. So with the Hand of Vecna, when doing a fast locker entry, the survivor is then teleported to a further locker. So like a nice quick little escape. Eye of Vecna, when doing a fast locker exit, the survivor cannot be seen by Vecna and gains haste for like the duration of the effect, so like increased speed. The survivor's perks include Mirrored Illusion. When you finish repairing a generator, press the ability button while near a chest, generator, totem, or exit gate. A static illusion of yourself will appear for a brief duration. Bardic Inspiration. Press the ability button while near other survivors to begin a brief performance, during which you'll roll a d20 dice. On a 1, you scream. From 2 to 10, skill checks grant 1% repair progress. From 11 to 19, skill checks grant plus 2% repair progress. On a 20, skill checks give a 3% repair progress. The effect ends if a skill check is missed, the ability is canceled, or the performance completes. And then finally, Still Sight. After standing still for a brief duration, you will see the auras of all generators, totems, and chests in your like location, like near around you. John, you were, I think it's safe to say, you were probably out of our group the one who loved Dead by Daylight the most, even with like the toxicity as we know from like those players. Like, what are your thoughts on this this DLC?
I ended up becoming one of those toxic players, Chris. Just so you know. Well, the thing is, I haven't played in a while, but this is kind of drawing me more towards it again. I like the whole idea of like adding roles to the game. I was actually thinking the whole time you were talking before you mentioned the I didn't know anything about this. This is actually the first time I'm hearing about it. When you were talking about it, I was thinking about like, oh, Vecna's like map is gonna be like, oh, like you have to like roll to like get out of this, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The locker thing kind of did you say that was a killer skill, or was that a
Oh no, those were survivor skills. Like where
okay.
but well, like not skills, but like items. So like
Oh,
when you
it's
have
an
the
item. Okay.
specific items, yeah, you can do those things.
See, that would be perfect for me because when I play as a survivor, I play like a chicken shit, and I basically like hide from the killer a lot. Even when he's like within like a couple meters of me, I'm behind a tree, like just looking at him. That locker thing just brings that to a whole new level for me. I found myself more playing the killer, so I think like I would end up playing as Vecna just to see how that goes. He looking at his page right now, he's medium difficulty, which I mean I played Doctor, so that's like hard difficulty. So I think I could handle him. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this a try. I'm not sure when it's. I think it's released now.
Yeah, it came out today.
Yeah. I might actually give this a try. It's like price point of $11. Like you can't go wrong. I already own the game, so yeah, not really much to lose.
That's what I will always say about Dead by Daylight. Like, I don't know necessarily when I'll go back to it. Unfortunately for them, this is horrible timing because while it does interest me, Final Shape tomorrow. So like, I can't. I've said it a lot of times. Like that is going to consume a lot of my life. But like, these kind of twists and stuff like that, these unique killers are really cool, and I do want to see them get more crazy, like with more and more killers. Because like even like way back, right? They had Alan Wake come out as a character. Like we had Nicolas Cage as a survivor.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see all these different like properties enter the game. And going back to like you talking about the price, I'll give them credit. Like the pricing is never ridiculous. Like I think it's safe to say it's fair and all that. It's like usually like $7 for an individual killer or like a survivor, but like they always do sales and you can kind of get them for like half the price. So, and you can unlock them by like the currencies in the game as well, if I remember correctly. But no, it's really cool to see Dead by Daylight do something like this. It really sucks Mark is not on this episode because like this is 100% something that's like
Yeah.
right up his alley. Yeah, I know. Oh, were you about to say something, John?
I was gonna say like maybe we should do like a night where we all get together again and just have like somebody play killer and we all play survivors and stuff. That'd be pretty fucking dope.
I am down for that, but like I would say like a month from now, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that time, to like go in a cave and just only play Destiny for
Just all Destiny.
ignore everything else, But I am definitely down for that in the somewhat near future. Anthony, I know you played a couple sessions with us and it wasn't really your thing, but what are your thoughts on this?
My first question is, what's going on with Dungeons and Dragons right now?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
like they got the Destiny crossover coming. They're doing this. Like,
Is there
I'm
an
not in the
anniversary
loop with
actually?
Dungeons and
It's
Dragons.
just everybody.
So,
It's all these developers just hopping on the bandwagon. It's popular right now, Dungeons and Dragons. So
but that's the thing. Like, it's a collab, right? So like, Dungeons and Dragons is getting the marketing and advertising from doing this. I don't think they would do that without a reason, right? Like, there's
So
got to be
they
something.
are celebrating their 50th anniversary.
oh
50th. Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
wow.
Cool. That's really cool. As far as the game, yeah, I pretty much only played once. That was on your birthday, Chris. I know you guys went much longer, but I only stuck around for about 2 hours because I'm your friend,
Yeah.
and I stuck it out for 2 hours. But yeah, I genuinely did not enjoy it the entire time. Um, it just, and then especially like when I was the killer once, and I'm like, I don't even know the mechanics of this game. And it's just like, obviously, no one's going to tell me because it's a competitive game at that point, right? It's the survivors versus the killer. And I'm just like, this is literally no fun. Like, I didn't kill a single person. Everyone escaped. And then I'm the survivor. I'm like, I don't know what you can do. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, no idea what I was doing. And I was just like, this is not even fun to me. Like, so not to say that the game isn't good, it's just not for me. Um, But I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is awesome, and Vecna, come on, like that link with Stranger Things, right? And the whole Dungeons and Dragons stuff going on there. Like it's definitely a cool pull that they used. Like of all the things within Dungeons and Dragons, what they chose, really good choice, I think.
Yeah, we did totally forget to even mention that too. We saw the like that you brought up the Destiny crossover with Dungeons and Dragons. It
Oh
is
yeah.
really cool to see it get thrown into more and more properties. Yeah, and it is funny because like John, when you said it, my first thought was like, yeah, because Baldur's Gate 3, but I was just like, maybe I think there is like something, and then, yeah, 50 years of fucking Dungeons and Dragons.
That's crazy,
It's
yeah.
fucking wild. John, any final thoughts on this before we move on?
I'm downloading it right now.
I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it come next episode. All right. So, yeah, it's definitely gonna be a short one for an episode. We are at our final topic, and this one we'll have some flexibility with because you don't have to feel rushed for this answer. We're making pretty good time. So, the question is, what are you hoping to see at Summer Games Fest? So, for context, this is the schedule. The site listed the PlayStation State of Play, which I find kind of funny because, like, was it really a part of Summer Games Fest? Because, like, they announced it last minute and it was like a full week before Summer Games Fest even happened. So I feel like Jeff Keighley's kind of just been like, oh, yeah, this was a part of it too, just kind of like make it look bigger. That being said, all right, so on June 7th, we have the main Summer Games Fest stream at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Every time I say a time, it's going to be our time, Eastern Daylight Time. And then also on the 7th, we have Day of the Devs at 7 p.m. and then followed by Volvy's 15th birthday party developer direct at 8 p.m. The next day, June 8th, we have the Future of Play direct at 11 a.m., the Wholesome direct at 12 p.m., the Latin American Games Showcase at 1 p.m., Woman Led Games at 2:30 p.m., and Future Games Show at 3 p.m. June 9th, we will have the Xbox Games Showcase, followed by Call of Duty Black Ops 6 direct at 1 p.m., and then the 10th anniversary PC Gaming Show presented by PC Gamer at 4 p.m. Finally, June 10th, Ubisoft Forward at 3 p.m. All right. So, yeah, back to the question itself. What are you hoping to see at Summer Games Fest? You could go with multiple things. Feel free to expand on your answer. Just like what kind of things would you even if it's like even if it's like something you think is impossible to see there, just throw it out. Anthony, like what are you hoping to see during this?
It's probably a couple things. Something that's probably somewhat likely would be I want a release date for the Suikoden remaster 1 and 2. It's supposedly due out this year. It still doesn't have a release date. I don't think we've really seen much on it either, that would be great. I mean, I love the first one. I've never played the second one, and that's supposedly the better one of the two. So, what better way to play it in a remaster form? Assuming they don't bungle the remaster. So that'll be we'll have to wait to see on that. But yeah, I'd love to see that. Maybe like I know I just recently bought this on sale on my Xbox, like digitally, but it'd be cool if they announced like a remaster of Lost Odyssey, that game that Mark talks very highly about. I've never played it, but it's someone on the team has, I don't know, was originally involved in some of the Final Fantasy games or something, and it's really well loved from the time that it came out on the 360. I know, I mean, are we at a point where like PS4 games are getting remasters? So I mean, 360 isn't outside the possibility. Uh, Trying to think. I mean, this one will never happen, but one of two things would be amazing. Either as little as a remaster to as far as a remake of Legend of Dragoon from PS1, or a sequel in some form, whether it's direct or hundreds of years in the future or prequel even, because in the game you're the son of of a well, it's spoilers, I guess. Your dad was a dragoon, and like one of your party members, Rose, was actually fighting in the war as a dragoon with your dad. So there is this whole history in this world. So like they could do like a prequel. That would anything in that world. Like I loved that game. Um, but outside of that, I would probably go like fantasy critic wise. We still need a release date for Alan Wake 2 DLC. Still at spring 2024. Um, I'm still missing the Plucky Squire release date, which I'm surprised we don't have a release date for that, because that was originally supposed to release last year, and it got delayed. And it doesn't even say like a quarter, Q1 or 2 or spring or summer. It just says 2024. So I really am hoping I don't need to drop that or whatever. But other than that, there's probably something that I'm not thinking of that I'm excited or like that I would that would likely be there. But off the top of my head, that's probably most of it, I would say.
I will say, I just remember this too. I think we are supposed to get a Nintendo showcase. That's technically a part of this, but we just still haven't gotten the date. And remember the one that was like supposed to be early June. So in
Oh,
case
okay.
like, because I know you like me myself, I only associate like Nintendo news with just Nintendo stuff. So if like there's anything Nintendo related that you might have added to the mix, I would say go for it right now.
Well, that's an easy pick for me then. It's a Wind Waker re-release of some form, whether it's a remaster or more. Even just a remaster would be fine. I just want to play the game. Everyone I know highly praises the game, and I've never played it. I just want to play it, and I don't want to have to go buy it and play it on my GameCube because I don't like wired controllers, and I don't have to go figure out a way to find. Like I'm sure there wireless controllers for the GameCube exist. I just don't want to have to figure all that out. I just want to be able to pop it in my Switch and play it. Well, I mean, well, in this case, at this point, it'd probably be a Switch 2 if they announce, because it wouldn't, unless they're like, guess what? We've been working on this for 2 years and it's out in 3 days. Like if they did announce something like that, it would probably be for the next Switch.
Well,
Maybe,
like if they did announce it during this, it would be on this Switch because the Nintendo Showcase is supposed to be only things coming out for like, or not
okay.
necessarily only coming out for like the current jet, but it's just basically like we're not talking about the next system. This is what you can expect for like the Switch for the rest of the year.
Okay. So even if it is available on the new rendition,
It
it
would
would
be
still be
here.
playable. Okay. Yeah, so that's probably the only thing that really comes to mind immediately. Because any of the other beloved games I have from there that I would want to revisit, I think I can at this point in time.
Yeah, I think Wind
Yeah.
Waker 2 would be like the perfect game because one for you to experience, but it would also be like the perfect game I think for you to introduce Link to it, right? Just that art style. Like he might get just entranced by like just like the cartooniness of it and all that.
Oh
Um
yeah, 100%.
John, what are you hoping for?
Well, so I know what to expect, and that's something that I can't wait for. Is Devolver Digital's wacky, disturbing but always fun marketing. um, I see Capcom on this list of partners too, so I'm hoping to see more from Monster Hunter Wilds. Maybe like kind of like a monster showcase, showing off like what Rathalos is going to look like or what Tigrex is going to look like. Um, maybe even a new like Resident Evil game, kind of like similar to the style of Resident Evil 8, just because I like the whole first person uh, survival horror feel of that. For Nintendo, I think I'm hoping for them to show. I think well they are obvious. I don't know if they said it or not, but they're going to show off the new console, right? That's
No.
pretty much their.
That
No, they said they.
they said they talked about it in like the tweet. They said don't expect any news on the next console during this. Expect that more around the fall.
So reverse psychology. They are going to show it. Um, they're like, don't expect it, and then you're going to be even more excited when they show it. For that, I'm hoping to see maybe like Anthony was saying, like a either like a Wind Waker remake or a even like I'd be excited for like an Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask remake, like with modern graphics. That would be phenomenal. Um, Otherwise, I don't really have many like hopes. I kind of like the anticipation. I kind of like the not knowing or not expecting or not getting my hopes up, just because they'll either be crushed or just you know.
No, that's fair. So I was gonna say, unfortunately for you, or I mean, unfortunately for me, like a lot of my things I'm about to say, I feel like are absolutely unlikely. but are just things I would love to see. First off, just something Kingdom Hearts 4. Just even if it's just like a trailer, like a nice little trailer, just like quick little update, a bit more information on what we can expect when that eventually comes out. Final Fantasy Tactics Remake, that was one of the things listed way back in like the Nvidia leak, and if I remember correctly, that's the only thing that has still yet to come out. And even a while back, Yoshi P, who made Final Fantasy 16, was like quoted in in an interview being like, "This needs to happen, like Final Fantasy Tactics Remake, something like that. They gotta have that happen." Something impossible to expect or like to happen. Fucking Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. Like it's the cruelest fucking experience of like, I just want this, but it's just something. But honestly, I would settle for if they did ports of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 from like the Xbox Switch versions onto PlayStation, man. Like even if it's just straightforward like ports that I can just get trophies on, I would love that. And like I know you could say like, oh, but Knights of the Old Republic wasn't on PlayStation 2, but it wasn't on Nintendo GameCube either, right? It was, if I remember correctly, just an Xbox exclusive, but it came to fucking PC. I kind of hope we get our first real solid preview of the future of Destiny at this, right? Because I think it'll be a couple days removed from the launch of Final Shape. And even if like they kind of give a glimpse of like, hey, this is what you can expect going forward. Because like we know what Final Shape is. Episode wise, we have no idea, and we won't find out till next week. If they could give us a preview of what to expect with the episode, I think at the very least, I think this would be a good time to show it. Gears of War 6 would be dope. Trying to think. I'm Black Ops wise, I'm hoping like a return to form of like old school Black Ops. Like I just want to see that traditional zombies experience. Like just give me that, and I'm in for it. Hollow. If we're talking fantasy critic shit, give me my fucking release date for Hollow Knight Silksong. God damn it, I fucking need that. Okay, I think I got two final things I can finish off on. One, Toys for Bob has been teasing some things. Give me a new Spyro game. Give me that. We got a long awaited Crash 4. Give us a new Spyro game. And finally, Xbox, if you want to do something really, really cool for people, fucking work with your teams at Activision and be like, all right, we're righting a serious wrong here. A while back, we got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 and like the HD, like the remakes and all that, and those are fucking fantastic. And we know the plan was to eventually do 3 and 4. Right the wrong and do that. Do 3 and 4. Because 3 and 4 were awesome because you could unlock characters like Wolverine, Spider-Man, Darth Maul, and all that as playable skateboarders. And I also want this to happen because I want that to be successful and to eventually lead to a new one, which is Underground 1 and 2. If they fucking ever made remakes of 1 and 2 for Tony Hawk's like Underground, that would be fucking. Yeah, so basically I'm expecting complete and total disappointment going into Summer's Games Fest since a lot of my things are pretty much impossible, but I just thought it'd be fun to just kind of be like, hey, what would you want to see at this and all that. Yeah. Any final thoughts, guys, before we close out the show?
Anthony, to answer your Plucky Squire question, it's a good chance that Devolver might actually say the release date because they don't really have much that I know of like on their tables besides that right now. So
Nice. Okay.
All right.
Love it.
Okay, so that has been another successful episode of the Guy Pie Podcast. I'm Chris. That's John's beard.
My face is so cold.
And that's Anthony.
See you later, guys.
That's a wipe.